Hello everybody and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And I decided I was going to come back into the office this week. So many of you sent me emails and made comments that you really like the new setting. So we'll do this for a little while till we get tired of it, and then maybe we'll go back to the little production studio we have in the building here. But anyway, just a few announcements. This week school starts. You can still enroll. Some classes haven't started yet. We're offering children's health, plant-based nutrition and health, chemistry 2, anatomy, institutional food, and the diet and lifestyle intervention course, which starts tomorrow night on Wednesday. Second thing is we have this amazing new program called Brand Ambassador. I'll be posting something on the website pretty soon that describes some of these new programs that we have that can get people involved and working with us more closely. But brand ambassadors, in return for helping us spread the word about what we do, get all kinds of special goodies like private conference calls with Neil Barnard and other special associates of ours here who are willing to spend time just talking to our brand ambassadors through conference calls and special meetings at conference and all that sort of thing. Free product samples. And you just might want to check it out. We have some new certification courses this year, a whole bunch of them. Look on our website: Children's Health, Informed Medical Decision Making, Cancer 101, Men's Health for the first time. We're going to do a Men's Health course, Allergies and Asthma. Lots of new stuff coming up, so don't miss out on this stuff. And then last but not least is I'm covering this month in advanced study Dr. Peter Bregin's book, which is Guilt, Shame, and Anxiety. And I started reading this book a couple weeks ago when I was putting the first slide set together. It's amazing. Learned a lot about myself in reading this book. Changed my attitude about a couple of things reading this book. So it's really interesting discussions on this. Advanced study is every month I pick a book that I think people should read. And I know they're probably not going to do it, and I prepare some slide sets and a couple of lectures that are interactive and live, and then I videotape them and put them on a website that hosts all of them. I think there are probably 50 plus lectures on that website right now, and we add 2 more every month. So it's a great program. Lots and lots of terrific information to learn from that program. So if any of this makes you interested, send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. All right, so let's get into today's topic. Medical associations have promoted the idea that only medically trained people can help others with health-related issues. And the reason is not that this is the case. The reason is because it's profitable to engage in what I call turf protection. You keep competition out, and then you get to keep the market for yourselves. Now, to be fair, doctors and psychologists and social workers, I mean, they're not the only people who engage in this type of activity. Cosmetologists tried to force the African American hair braiders to spend 2,000 to 3,000 hours and several $1,000s going to cosmetology school to learn how to braid hair. And then in some states, massage therapists have tried to stop veterinarians from delivering animal massage to their patients. You know how much danger there is in massaging your cat. And then one of the best I ever saw was I personally watched a committee meeting at the Ohio House of Representatives where some people tried to convince the legislature that specific training and licensure were needed in order to be able to clean out dryer vents. And that one, I know, if you're laughing out loud, I was too. Now, all of this is to protect turf. I just don't think any sane person with a straight face would argue that braiding hair and cleaning out dryer vents are such high-risk activities that you have to have specialized training and a regulatory board to watch over your actions. Well, I want to come back to the topic. The reality is that lay people are often extremely effective, sometimes more so than traditional trained health professionals in helping other people. And I'll give you an example. There are a lot of consumers and cooking instructors who have done a marvelous job all over the country helping people who have coronary artery disease and type 2 diabetes to improve their health with diet. They've done a much better job for some of these people than their expert cardiologists and endocrinologists were doing. So I think we can say that that you don't have to be specifically trained in order to help people with health issues. Well, the same thing is true with mental health services. A growing body of research is showing that after minimal training, people who are not mental health professionals are able to effectively offer programs that assist people in overcoming depression and other psychological disorders. Now, Dr. Peter Breggin, our business partner in the mental health training business, says that any empathic person can be taught to help other people feel better and get better. And he's even said that perhaps the psychiatry profession should just be eliminated. Now, that's quite a statement coming from a guy who is a psychiatrist. He's basically saying maybe my profession doesn't need to exist anymore. So a good example is a project that involved individuals who were not trained mental health professionals, but were taught to assist people in Zimbabwe with common psychological disorders. Now, the reason this becomes important is most people in sub-Saharan Africa do not have easy access to mental health professionals. It's a literal desert out there in terms of access to the right types of practitioners. This particular study involved 573 patients. Most of them were women, 18 years of age or older, and they had been diagnosed with common conditions like depression and anxiety. They had a lot of other problems too. A significant percentage were HIV positive, had a physical illness, domestic violence was reported by over 70%, and many of them had suffered loss of income. So certainly they had reasons to be depressed and anxious. Half of the participants were assigned to an intervention group, which received 6 sessions of problem-solving therapy delivered by trained healthcare workers, and also were given the opportunity to do follow-up peer-led sessions. And then the other half were given standard care, information, psychological education, and support. Assistance from healthcare workers who weren't mental health professionals, combined with the support group, led to improved symptoms at 6 months, and the improvement was noted regardless of the severity of the symptoms or the condition the person was in at the time that the intervention started. According to researcher Dixon Chibanda, quote, "Lay health workers can be trained to deliver psychological interventions normally reserved for professionals such as psychologists and psychiatrists, and can contribute toward reducing the treatment gap for common mental disorders." Chibanda suggests that the programs should be expanded to other people, for example, pregnant women and children. The researchers report that these findings are similar to other studies, and I've read several of these other studies too, which have shown that problem-solving therapy can be delivered effectively with minimal training because it doesn't require complex skills. In an editorial in the same publication that the study I'm talking about was published, Richard Neugebauer, who is of the New York State Psychiatric Institute, cited other interventions which have been conducted in similar environments, such as Pakistan, another place where particularly women have a difficult time, that have had equally promising results. Now, our view here is maybe a little non-traditional. We think that the usefulness of lay-driven programs and programs administered by lay people is not limited to areas of the country, of the world, where resources are so low, but also can be implemented in westernized countries like the United States. Now here, Americans have easy access to psychiatrists and psychologists, but the reality is that most of those people do not deliver therapy that really helps people. And in the case of psychiatrists, particularly those who are really pretty liberal with the prescription pad and really like to put people on drugs, we could argue that they do more harm than good. An army of trained empathic individuals, like Peter Breggin referenced, would be considerably more effective in helping people with common psychological disorders, and would be also significantly less financial investment. It would be affordable to everybody. This idea, by the way, is one that Dr. Breggin introduced to me in 2012 when he was here to speak for the first time, and he threw out this idea. I've never forgotten about it, and we're actually working on programs right now that would be peer-to-peer type work in this particular area for mild to moderate depression, anxiety, things of that nature. So an interesting thing going on, we talk a lot about revolution in healthcare. I'm sort of on my soapbox about that these days. Let's get this show on the road, let's really build something and do something different in healthcare. It's kind of interesting, but the revolution that we're looking for is being fueled in part by people who aren't health professionals, but who have better ideas about how to help people. So I think the days of turf protection and title protection for healthcare workers are coming to an end. There's been a lot of laws passed, some of which I helped with, that have been very instrumental in decreasing the power of some of these organizations to keep people out of health-related occupations. So anyway, a hopeful message. We can solve the world's problems, and we don't necessarily have to have more medical school graduates to do it. Well, as usual, pass this on to anybody who you think might enjoy watching it. I will be back to you on Thursday with more news.